Hey, what's up? It's Tati, and I am back. This time, I'm going to be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. We had two shows over the weekend. We had the Capital Collision that was in Washington, D.C., and then the next night, Sunday night, we had the Collision in Philadelphia pay-per-view, and both of these pay-per-views were super, super good. Now, I think if you're watching AEW, it's really important to, if not watch the New Japan shows, I would recommend at least following up with like their results or whatnot, because these things are really going to start playing into what's going on with AEW, especially right ahead of the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. So I do think like you're going to start seeing a lot of these storylines intertwining with each other at both promotions, and then leading up to the pay-per-view, we'll be able to see more of the pay-per-view storylines coming into play on AEW TV. Last year, we didn't really get to see it that way. The way Forbidden Door was set up last year, we kind of did not get a build really going into that pay-per-view, but I know it's going to be different this time. We did have some AEW guys at the show this weekend, including AR Fox. We did have Orange Cassidy putting the AEW International title on the line, and we got to see Aussie Open. Yeah, they're not with AEW, but we do see them regularly over there. So a lot of things are going to start playing out. These shows was actually really, really great. What I enjoyed the most was the Capital Collision pay-per-view. I felt like from top to bottom, it was absolutely solid. As far as the matches go, the second night, I think it was still good, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't as great as the first pay-per-view. And I think part of that being we had some injuries with the first show, and a lot of guys that was used on the Capital Collision pay-per-view was also used the next night in Collision in Philadelphia. So I guess some of that ring fatigue showed as well. So it just didn't feel as solid as the first night. But either way, I enjoyed everything that we got from New Japan. Let's talk about the first night real quick. So night one was a really solid pay-per-view. We do have Clark Connors that does turn heel at this pay-per-view. Now that's very important because right now we have David Finlay, who is the leader of Bullet Club, and obviously he's going to be recruiting people. So the second match of the night, we do have David Finlay versus AR Fox, which was a really great match. And I'm really happy to see AR Fox having much bigger opportunities in his career. He's definitely known as a trainer. One of the people that you might know that he trained was what's his name, Austin Theory. So he's trained a lot of great wrestlers, but never really had big moments of his own as a professional wrestler. So I'm glad to see him having some opportunities outside of AEW as well. So he had a really great match against David Finlay. However, I already knew that David Finlay needed this win. This was for him to prove why he should be leader of Bullet Club, and why he needs a super team of guys to join him. So this was a really great match where these two guys are really putting it all out there. I really enjoy AR Fox in the ring. I would prefer to see him do solo matches versus AEW just keep throwing him in and there with other teams or trios or with another person with a tag team. So we really got to just see him solo, really at his best. However, David Finlay ends up taking the win, and after he wins, he calls out Clark Connors, and basically they join each other. So now Clark is also part of the Bullet Club under David Finlay. And David is basically letting people know that, he's going to do something that's never been done with the Bullet Club before. And he's only looking for savages to join Bullet Club, and that, he's just going to make sure that he'll take Bullet Clubs to new heights. And I'm just like, all right, well, we'll see about that. For the most part, I feel like it might not be any different than what we've seen with the Bullet Club before. However, everything he says does sound believable, and I'm behind him, and I'm hoping to see how different he can make this. Now, we've seen so many different variations of Bullet Club, so he's really going to have to pull some tricks out of his hat to make it seem different compared to any of those other Bullet Clubs that we've ever seen before. Next, we had New Japan World TV Championship on the line. Jack Sabre Jr. versus Tom Lawler. Now, this was my favorite match of the whole weekend, actually. The only thing I don't like about the TV championship is that it's just 15 minutes is the max that they have to be in the ring. So whether or not Zach gets to pin his opponent or whatever, or have them submit, he still needs to make it to 15 minutes at least so he can keep that title. And when I say this match right here, Zach fought with everything in his being to keep this title, while Tom fought with everything in his being to be champion. Like, it was just so perfect. Everything that these guys put down in the ring, it was like, oh my god, the whole time I was just sitting there like, it was so freaking close. Like, this is the one match where out of the matches that Zach has had, where you felt really like, damn, like there is a strong possibility that he's going to lose this title. It was just so close between these two guys. They have really great chemistry in the ring, so that's another reason why I enjoy this. Now, I don't think we've seen these two one-on-one. I know that they've had situations where they've got in the ring with each other, but they had partners. So this is, I believe, is the first time they've been in the ring one-on-one with New Japan. So this was, really interesting to see how these two work all on their own. I truly enjoyed this match. One of my favorite matches of 2023. I really, really like this. Now, I would love to see either one of these two guys in the ring. I guess for the pure championship, or just at least have a match in ROH with pure championship rules. I would love to see that, to see how these guys do. I think it was something that we'll really, really enjoy. Even though this was the second match. Let me see. There was a pre-show. First match was the second match. This match right here was hard for any match after that to be better than. But even though they had a solid show, this match right here, if you want to take any time out to watch from this show, that's the match to watch over all the matches from this night. Next, we had Ishii versus El Desperado. It was a really great match. I did kind of feel a little bit worried getting into this match. I felt like maybe it might not be so great. I didn't think that maybe they would have a really great chemistry, but they did have really great chemistry, and they both have the same type of competitiveness that made this match so much more enjoyable. I enjoyed it. However, Ishii takes the win. Kind of wasn't surprised there. Now let's get into the drama of the night. We had Fred Rosser versus Juice Robinson. That match doesn't even take place. Now, they do have a little bit of a feud going on. We do have Juice Robinson, who had cost Fred Rosser a chance of winning the strong open weight title back at the Battle of the Valley pay-per-view. I did review that. So now here we are at Capital Collision. They're going against each other. Prior to this pay-per-view, Fred Rosser made some comments about Toni Storm and having her ringside. He even had a chair set up next to the commentators with a paper that says Toni Storm on it, so she can sit down and watch her husband get his ass beat. I kind of thought that was funny. So now Fred Rosser is making it to the ring. Juice Robinson come and layeth a smacketh down on Fred Rosser. And I don't even think Fred Rosser got a chance to put up a finger at Juice. And I was just like, whoa. Like, he literally was just beating the shit out of him. And then towards the end of that beatdown, he was like, oh, keep my wife's fucking name out your mouth and all that stuff. And it immediately gave me Will Smith, Chris Rock vibes or whatnot. And I was just like really surprised. So at a point he did, Juice Robinson did struck a official. So right after this match, New Japan had put out a little press release talking about how Juice Robinson was suspended. So he's suspended. And also, his match with Lance Archer for semifinals to face Kenny Omega for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. He's out of there, and Fred Rosser is going to replace him for that match. I just felt like this was so interesting to see how things have played out. I'm really interested to see how the storyline goes. To be honest, at first, when the whole thing happened, I thought it was kind of funny. And then when New Japan had, said that he was suspended, I was like, damn, is this a work or not? But I really do think at this point it is a work. Juice have his own thing going on in AEW and whatnot. I don't know the reason why they would suspend him or whatever, but I'm pretty sure more details will come out soon. Next, we had Sanada and Kanemaru versus Takahashi and Naito. And I love it when Takahashi comes out with Daryl. It is so cute. And then the audience members also have their little Daryls. Men that have plushies, like, what's wrong with that? I think it's really cute. Anyway, this match was really good. However, it was the least best for me, even though this pay-per-view was pretty solid in my opinion. Something about it just kind of made me lose a little bit of interest, so it wasn't as solid as the other matches. However, we do have Kanemaru and Sanada taking the win. Next, we do have Kenta versus Eddie Edwards. This was okay too. Also kind of made me lose a little bit of interest in this match as well. However, Kenta does retain the open weight championship. Now, what was interesting was that we had a video package from Hikuleo letting Kenta know that he wants a chance to get a title shot, and Kenta does approve, and we'll be seeing them soon. I'm very interested to see how that goes. I do think they will have a great match, but I don't see Hikuleo taking that title. Let's get into the main event. For the main event, it was for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions. Obviously, Border City Machine Guns coming in as champions versus Tanahashi and Okada versus Aussie Open. This was a really great match. Still did not live up to the New Japan TV title match from earlier, but maybe this would be second for me. So here's the thing. My issue with this match, I didn't notice this obviously at first, but it only felt like a tag team match against just two teams rather than a three-way tag team match, because we really didn't get a chance to see Okada and Tanahashi in this match, barely. And then it turned out later on, New Japan had released some information letting us know that Tanahashi had suffered a broken rib from this match. I'm not really sure what move or what happened during the match that specifically caused that injury, but it does make sense as to why we really didn't see them in this match. And I really felt like it would have made a difference if they truly had participated in this match. So it's pretty much Motor City Machine Guns versus Aussie Open, and they're super entertaining. I really enjoy Aussie Open. Everything that they do it so well, and I feel like they've almost perfected tag team wrestling. They just have this chemistry that when they go against other teams that are not normally a tag team, it really, really shows, because they just seem to have perfected that. Now, while this match was enjoyable, I do feel like, Aussie Open and Motor City Machine Guns obviously had to make up for what Okada and Tanahashi could not do. We do have this nasty moment where we have Kyle Fletcher gets on top of the ropes, and he's going to do a moonsault, and he completely misses his opponents, and he hits a steel barricade. Now, it was like his stomach or groin area, and it looked really, really bad. And I was just like, oh my God, he's going to be out for the rest of this match. But after a few moments, he did get a chance to get a breather and get right back in there. And he did tweeted later on in the night, letting the ladies know that he and the family jewels are okay. So glad to hear that he was doing well, especially since he had to compete the following night. So he's good, and he was able to compete the rest of the match, and didn't really seem like he was terribly injured. However, we do have new champions, Aussie Open. So now they're holding the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions and also the IWGP Tag Team Champions as well. So they got 2 sets of belts, and that is awesome. However, after that match, they're celebrating. We do have Tanahashi and Okada doing a little stare down with them, so I guess we'll see them in the future. But since Tanahashi's rib is broken, that's not happening anytime soon. Also, during their little speech, we do have the crowd cheering out FTR. So will we be seeing them against FTR? That would be absolutely awesome if we get to see that. I guess they're the new belt collectors now. So what other tag team titles they could be going after? Maybe the ROH titles, maybe even AEW titles. That would be cool to see too. So they will definitely have to go against FTR. They need to save something like that for a pay-per-view, not on some regular episode of Dynamite. So I'm really excited to see where they go from here. I need to see some storylines with New Japan guys and AEW starting to play, at least after Double or Nothing, so we can get into the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I don't want this to be rushed like it was last year. Anyway, I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. It was really, really great. If you want to see great wrestling, like, New Japan is hitting it out of the park. They always deliver with great matches. My only complaint here is that I wish they was just a little bit more well lit with their arena. It just felt a little too dark for me, maybe because my eyes was fucked up. But other than that, I really did enjoy the show. It was really great. Go see it if you haven't seen it. I enjoyed it. So the next night, we had the Collision in Philadelphia pay-per-view. Now, like I said before, with this show, we did have great wrestling. However, it just didn't have the same energy as last night, the previous night actually. So the issue with that was that they used a lot of the same wrestlers that wrestled before, and they were wrestling the next night. So maybe it was just some ring fatigue or whatnot. I'm not really sure. They just shuffle around some of the same guys into different matches, whether it be solo singles matches or tag team matches. So something about this night was just not as great as the Capital Collision. We did start off with El Desperado and Volador Jr. versus Delirious and Kevin Knight. This match here was a great way to open the show. Nothing out of the box or whatnot. So it was a little bit entertaining. We do obviously have the El Desperado and Volador Jr. taking the win. It could have had a little bit more energy for me. Now, next match was a pure rules match with Alex Coughlin versus Tracy Williams. This was the best match of the night. Now, if you're like me and your favorite style of wrestling, technical wrestling, pure rules match is something that I think you can really enjoy once you get the hang of the rules. It did take me a little bit of time to get a hang of it. However, it's become my favorite type of matches lately. So these two right here delivered an excellent match. First of all, we do have Alex Coughlin, who tag teamed with Shibata in the last ROH episode, and after their match, Alex had, basically let him know that he wanted to go for the title. So we're going to see Alex and Shibata maybe this week. They did not confirm exactly when that match was going to take place. But so for storyline purposes, it made sense that Alex had to win this match because he had already issued his challenge to Shibata. So it would not make sense for him to lose after letting Shibata know that he wanted to go against him. So he had to prove why he should be the number one contender for this title. Now, other guys obviously want this title, but I guess they have to show why he needed to prove why he should be next. Honestly, I thought it should be Anthony Henry, but that's not the way they're going with this. But anyway, Tracy Williams lately has also been impressing me. I've been enjoying his matches lately. So either one of these guys, if Tracy would have won, I would have been okay with that. But for storyline purposes, it has to be Alex. Either way, both of these guys really put on a really great match. It really felt like from the get-go Alex was going to win this. The crowd was behind him. So it went exactly how it should have gone. So we're going to see this saga continue on to ROH for the Pure Championship title. Alex Coughlin takes the win, but both these guys deliver an excellent match. And everybody after this match really had some big shoes to fill. Next, we had 6-man tag action with the Team Filthy versus TMDK. This was actually a fun, energetic match. We do have TMDK coming in as the baby faces. The crowd were cheering for them throughout this match. I love the parts where we do get to see Tom and Zach all over again in the ring. So that was fun since they had a fantastic match the night before. Basically, the energy of this match really made it seem like TMDK was going to take the win. But surprisingly, Team Filthy ended up taking the win. I did not really see that coming. But it was fun and they had really great energy. So this was another enjoyable match of the night. I honestly would have loved to see Tom and Zach in the ring one more time, one-on-one. But like I said, with these two shows back to back, we just kept seeing a lot of the same guys just being put into different matches. Something about it was just, I don't know, a little bit lacking. But this match right here had really great energy. I did like it. Next, we had tag team action with Sonata and Kanemaru versus Rocky Romero and Homicide. Now, Homicide was really well received by the Philadelphia crowd. This match was okay, nothing too special or whatnot. Definitely did see some fatigue from Sonata and Kanemaru, but I do think everybody performed really well. Sonata and Kanemaru does end up taking the win. Next, we do have the AEW International Championship on the line. Orange Cassidy versus Gabriel Kidd. Now, what I do like here is that Orange Cassidy still kept going with that injury to his hand, the one that he got from doing an orange punch onto the Trios title like 3 weeks back or whatnot. And it was a great match. You know, Orange Cassidy was still doing what Orange Cassidy does. So nothing really changed as far as him being in a new setting. And obviously he was still working the same injury. However, I do feel like this was a really great match, but nothing over the top. It's just like, okay, we're still seeing the same things. If he wasn't working that hand injury, I really do feel like the match would have been way better because we would have gotten to see much more out of him and him being at his best without being injured in this match. So that's one thing I kind of wish that wasn't the case. Either way, Orange Cassidy does retain the AEW International Championship. Just because you're fighting with New Japan guys does not make this an international match. AEW, let's get it together with this international championship match and make it seem like, you know, we need to see whoever is holding that title defended internationally. And unfortunately, we're not seeing that. Either way, it was a entertaining match. We knew Orange Cassidy was not going to lose this on another promotion show. Next, we had some more tag team action with Naito and Takahashi versus Kenta and Chase Owens. This was a great match. However, I wasn't really wowed by this. So it was okay for a match in the middle of the card. Naito and Takahashi just take the win. Now, let's get into the semifinal match with Fred Rosser and Lance Archer. Now, we do have Fred Rosser that was put into this match replacing Juice Robinson after that beatdown he got the night before. So right before that match, Lance Archer decides that it should be a Philly street fight. So that's fitting since they are in Philadelphia and they were in the ECW arena. Now, when Fred Rosser came out, this dude was taped up in the ribs, taped up in his arm, and he had his head wrapped around with whatever it was to stop the bleeding from last night. And he just looked like a half wrapped mummy basically, and I was just like, whoa, bro, you probably should have just stayed home after that beatdown. He obviously accepts for the Philadelphia street fight, and now they're going at it. Now, Lance Archer knew what he was doing. He knew Fred Rosser was fucked up from the night before. So now he's pulling out all types of weapons, starting off with kendo sticks. And you got every little thing that was under that ring, he made sure he used. They even took the match out throughout the crowd or whatnot. And I was like, this is smart. But Lance could have gotten this thing over with way sooner. Either way, we do see Lance Archer taking the win. So he is moving a step closer to the IWPG US Heavyweight Championship. This was annihilation, basically. So I don't know how I even forgot this important information here, but during this Philly street fight, we do have Juice Robinson that comes back out and attacks Fred Rosser. And that's perfectly legal because it's a strictly street fight. There is no DQ here. So this whole thing really worked against Fred Rosser in this match. So the storyline will continue. Now, let's get into the main event for the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship, Aussie Open versus Ishii and Lio Rush. This match was actually better than the first match that they had the night before. I really did enjoy this. It was just two tag teams going at each other. Everybody was pretty much like equally involved, unlike the three-way tag from the night before. I really did enjoy this match. Everybody really did put, I guess, a fair amount of competitiveness into this. However, Aussie Open was kind of like trying to be heel in this match, and the crowd was like, no way, we love you guys, like they're so cool, and who doesn't cheer for winners, right? So they're always winning, and they already got two titles on them, so yeah, the crowd loves them. So the whole heel angle thing throughout this match just really wasn't working out. Either way, Aussie Open does retain the title. There's just no way they were just going to lose it the next night after winning this. Definitely was one of the best matches out of the two nights. So I really did enjoy this. I really hope we're going to see Aussie Open against FTR soon. It would be really cool if prior to being in the ring with FTR, they end up getting a third set of titles, just like FTR did, and then go against FTR for the AEW Tag Team Championships. That would be so freaking awesome. Like I said, if you do watch AEW, I do think it's important to keep up with what's going on in New Japan, because all these things are definitely going to tie in together later on this summer. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I will be back on Wednesday with my review for Dynamite. Bye.